I don't actually know what this turns into. I'm sitting in a room that didn't exist a few months ago, talking into a microphone that I bought because I felt like I needed to start somewhere. There's no big reveal coming. This is just the beginning of me trying to figure some things out. And I'm going to do it out loud. Welcome to the Chronicles of Shred. This is a podcast about trying something without being totally sure where it leads. My name is Steve. I'm a guitarist, but I'm interested in learning to sing publicly. And I'm interested in developing my skills as a recording engineer and a producer. I'm in the middle of changing almost everything about how I make music. Not because I've cracked some code, but because I've reached a point where not trying feels worse than trying. I've reached a point where I want to express myself in a way that is fulfilling without necessarily chasing any kind of success. It's not a success story, it's not a comeback, and it's definitely not advice. This is a real-time experiment. No hindsight, no here's what worked framing. Just me documenting what happens when I stop waiting until I feel ready and start paying attention instead. Here's what's actually happening in my life right now. I've moved to a new state, a new city, a new music scene where nobody knows me. None of my past context really matters. There's something oddly freeing about that. No expectations to live up to, no reputation, no momentum to protect. And at the same time, it forces a question I've been able to avoid for a long time. What do I really want this to be? If I'm not just recreating what I've already done and not trying to rehash and re-explore ground I've already covered, but I'm trying to explore in depth who I am as a musician and what I can do or can't do, as we may find out. So as I moved, I made the decision to take the semi-finished basement and turn that into a functional studio. And I made the decision to upgrade my existing studio to a level that I felt like would be capable of producing professional level recordings. My mindset was to build it so that the only problem that I would encounter was me. Because if the studio's good and the studio's right, then I should be able to make great recordings without having anything else to be able to blame it on. If it doesn't sound good, it's because of me. It's nothing glamorous, nothing Instagram perfect, but I did put some time into figuring out how to treat it and how to decorate it and make it a functional and hopefully aesthetically pleasing room to work in, so that when I came down here, I felt like I had a place to be creative without distractions and without hindrance. It's really just drywall, cables and gear showing up piece by piece, and me realizing that I was committing to learning things that I used to avoid. Recording, production, workflow, finishing things. I have footage of the whole process, pictures and videos of the steps that I took to refurbish this room and make it something, well, make it what it is, I guess, and you can decide what you think. But it was just me figuring out as I went. I talked to people who knew things. I watched YouTube videos. I kind of figured out what I'm supposed to do. And then I kind of figured out the best and easiest way to do it, and I did it. Building the space, though, it felt like crossing a line. Because once this room exists, you can't really pretend you're not ready anymore. You can't pretend that You're waiting for something because it's here. There's good gear in here. The room sounds good. It's ready, even if I'm not. I've been part of a music career before. I've toured. I've made records. I've been signed. I've played 80, 90, 100 shows a year. I've been in some good cover bands. I've been in some good original bands. But I've never been the one making the final decisions. For most of my career, I've been in the passenger seat, watching choices get made about direction, timing, identity. Sometimes agreeing, sometimes quietly thinking, I don't know if I would have done that. And being in that position teaches you a lot. You see what works, you see what doesn't, you see how often fear pretends to be strategy, and you see how often people's egos make decisions that their brains would never make. And when you're not in the driver's seat, your choice is to ride along or get out of the car. You store all that away, and eventually you realize, I've learned enough to at least be responsible for my own mistakes now. I want to be clear about something. I don't actually know what shape this career takes. I don't know if I want to fully go back into the traditional gig grind of touring and chasing shows and living out of a calendar, I definitely don't want to live out of a van. I don't know if I've got it in me at 53 years old to play every weekend, twice a weekend, or more. Maybe I do. If the right passion project developed, I'm not saying it's off the table, but I am saying that it's not a goal. I'm considering it. I'm considering style. I'm considering a lot of things. And so, I've played guitar for a long time. I've had some success. But there are things I don't know about guitar. You can spend 5 minutes on YouTube and find a 5-year-old that's a better guitar player than me. It's not that hard. And being in a position where I can call the shots and make the decisions based on my experiences without having to worry about appeasing anyone else. I don't know exactly what kind of music I want to make. I don't know what kind of gig calendar I want to do. But what I do know is that I wanted to build this room, and I wanted to find my voice literally and figuratively. I want to sing. I want to write music. I want to produce music. And I don't know if it's going to be any good. I honestly don't. Every situation that I've been in, like I said, some of them have been very successful. Some of them have not been very successful. But I was never the guy making the decisions. And now I want to be the guy making the decisions. Now I want to be the guy that makes the music that I want to make. And creates the band that I want to create from a management perspective, from a image perspective. I'm not committing to anything yet. But what I am committed to learning and noticing what it feels like to build something sustainable instead of just familiar. This podcast is part of how I slow the process down enough to be honest with myself and with you. There's some of this I'm not ready to unpack yet. Some things I walked away from a long time ago that are showing up in my soul again as things that I want to do, and they're coming out in this room, and I want to explore those things. But we'll get there, just not today. So this is episode 1. A move, a new state, a new town. Like I said, I've toured. I've been in signed bands. I've been all over the country. And it is exciting and a little scary at the same time to be in a new town where nobody knows me. But I have this room. I have this space. I have a clean slate. I'm not making any promises about where it ends up. Just the decision to start and to document what happens honestly. This is the Chronicles of Shred, inside the process of figuring out what a modern music career could look like in real time. And if you're figuring something out too, stick around. next episode, I'll talk about why that unfinished thread keeps pulling me back in here and why I finally stopped ignoring it. I'll see you then.